we're here today to talk about a very important committee or group that TxDOT's involved with that embraces both the US, the Texas and the Mexico side of the border. They do a transportation plan, a financial plan over a 5-year period. And that group, whose name escapes me, was in Brownsville recently.
Sure, that's correct. This is the Texas-Mexico Border Infrastructure Master Plan. Every 5 years, they meet in key cities to review the plan and discuss any changes that the community sees that might impact infrastructure investment. Right. So they want to see on the ground, data or input that will help them with their planning. Right. So they want to know what does the industry see, what does the city see, what are the issues with the current infrastructure. Right. And so I think it's very much appreciated that TxDOT is working collaboratively with the city of Brownsville and our community, our industry, and the Port of Brownsville and SpaceX and Starbase. So I think it sets the foundation for a very good strategy on how to train infrastructure around the board.
And you were pleased to be the first city to host them.
Yes, part of this update cycle, Brownsville hosted the first meeting. I believe they went up to Laredo and to, I think, El Paso. So I think that there's different cities that they were meeting at, and we were just honored to have them start their update in Brownsville.
It's just a very a good time to be doing this. One, given all the growth and our interdependency with Mexico for trade, but also some of the challenges, brand new challenges that have emerged over the last year or so.
No, I think it's very timely. Obviously Brownsville is experiencing a lot of change. And, sometimes obviously government doesn't move at the speed of industry, right? So it's important to get that real-time feedback so that TxDOT can factor that data into what they're planning. And they plan 10, 20, 30 years in the future, right? So I think that's really crucial that they get that feedback.
Did you have any specific agenda items that you wanted that TxDOT to take on board?
I think obviously everything that's happening at the port and SpaceX, the growth that we're seeing was also, they besides the LNG projects, for example, the port has, my understanding, billions and billions of dollars of other projects that are non-LNG related, right, that are going to impact transportation infrastructure, right? And so I think it's important for them to have that in mind when they are looking at our region in terms of infrastructure. And I think being that we do have 6 modes of international transportation here in Brownsville, and I think it's a very unique place for that connectivity. And obviously for TxDOT, safety is number one, right? We want to protect our motorists and our communities. Then there's a lot of liquid cargo that passes through Brownsville, and so we need to make sure that the cargo passes safely and efficiently, right? And then obviously I think we have wind blades that are crossing through Brownsville from Mexico. Obviously, I think in the future, SpaceX will be probably shipping a lot, different modes of transportation, right? So I think just having that line of communication is crucial.
There aren't many communities that can say they've got 6 modes of transportation, correct?
Correct. I think that's a huge asset for Brownsville, and I think we're capitalizing on those opportunities.
And going back to the port, did I hear you correct? You said billions with a B. That's what's happening at the port?
Yes, but on top of the LNG investments, we're some of the largest investments in the country, right? So I think it's a great time to be involved in ensuring that our progress continues and we keep on building jobs that are high paying and have the opportunities for those residents.
So back to this group, you would encourage residents, you would encourage industry, get involved, pay attention to this. The plan is very important for our border region.
Absolutely. I think feedback is crucial. TxDOT always has a public comment period, everything that they do. I think at the city side as well, it's important to have a voice with government and government entities. If you don't speak up, you're not going to be heard.
And now moving on to today, a meeting of the MPO, a changing of the guard, so to speak, a new chairperson, and you were elected.
Yes, I feel very honored to now be the chair of the MPO. I think it's historic for Brownsville. Every 2 years, a representative from Hidalgo County or Cameron County, they switch roles, right? So I am the representative on behalf of Cameron County that was elected to the vice chair position 2 years ago, and now to the chair.
And in her outgoing remarks, Ellie Torres, the chairperson here, said her advice was, everybody remember, people know us as the Rio Grande Valley. We're not here, this board's not here to work on individual city projects. We have to think of the region. You would concur?
Absolutely. I think that's imperative that we work as one region to make progress. If we're all going to be focused only on our cities or if our counties, it's not going to be as impactful, right? And I think under her leadership, we've seen a big change in the way the MPO does business and is more transparent, more accountable, and I think we'll be more effective with that model. So I think it's all about executing, getting projects shovel ready and off the ground, and getting that money that we receive from the federal government through TxDOT, getting those projects going. Because as we know, the valley is growing very, very rapidly. We need to get these projects executed so that we can go to the state and to the federal government and say, hey, we need more money because we've already executed our project, right?
And that was going to be my final question. There has been criticism in the past that the MPO hasn't worked on the shovel-ready projects. They've been planning and discussing things were not ready. Therefore, you haven't been able to spend the money, and those questions are being asked by TxDOT, by legislators. Is that something that the MPO is addressing? Are things getting better in that regard?
Well, I think that was specifically addressed at this meeting where we approved our plan that will what's called it's fiscally constrained, which means the projects that are in the plan we can afford and they're ready to go in the time frames that they're allotted, right? So the next 3 years, those projects will be they are shovel ready and they'll hit the ground, right? So I think that's really important to show TxDOT that we're effective, and then that ultimately that's the goal of the MPO is to get projects going and improve transportation infrastructure in the RGG.
So that's a new policy initiative that the MPO has taken on board, that you are going to do things in that way.
Well, the big change was to have a project readiness report that we review at every meeting that is very clear where projects are and what's still left to be done, so that we know how to prioritize. It's very transparent and objective, right? You can compare projects against each other and say, obviously this one's ready, that one needs to get funded first.